Where do you start? What does that non-traditional job even look like? 28 job applications, 28. I found 32 jobs that I was interested in one day. I got past 3 rounds of pre-screening for that. Hi guys, this is the update of my 30-day challenge to land a non-traditional nursing job. So we know you guys can go anywhere, you can be anything, you can do anything you want. But when you are trying to move from that traditional nursing hands-on perspective, if you're in the hospital or in a clinic setting, for the first time, it can be quite difficult to land a non-traditional job. Where do you start? What does that non-traditional job even look like? And which one is the best match for you? So in this challenge, my challenge was not to prove that I could land a job in 30 days, but was really to guide you through how I organized myself and how I strategically set myself up to not necessarily stress in this process of being cut from a job recently and trying to find the next job while running a business. My goal was to show you how to not only set yourself up for targeted success in sending out resumes, but also to get a higher chance of callbacks or opportunities to at least get that interview, get your foot in the door, and really make your search one that is specific to where you're headed and not necessarily just sending out a bunch of resumes because what you need is a job. So you're just sending out a bunch of stuff. All right, so that was a mouthful. In these 30 days, I spent the first week just setting up my resume categories. Again, my resume categories, we talked about setting up 3 specific categories, but my resume categories were either in case management, public health, regulatory and compliance, informatics, process improvement. I had a couple of categories. However, yes, I only spent 1 week fine-tuning my resumes in those specific folders. Find the balance between using ChatGPT to help you and not sounding too much like ChatGPT, but I recommend that you have resume categories for every single job category that you're targeting, so you're not sending that same resume to multiple jobs. So the first week, I spent time doing that. I laid the groundwork and the foundation for the resumes that I was going to be sending out. The next week, I started looking. I started looking after using a targeted Boolean search based on the resumes that I set up. My targeted Boolean search, I found 32 jobs that I was interested in one day. 32. I created a job cart. I saved all of those jobs to come back to and to apply to. And in that same second week of this 30-day challenge, I sent out 28 job applications. 28. Now there are 30 days in this month, and I sent out 28 job applications in something like a span of 2 days. 28 job applications, because my resumes were already ready. And a lot of these job applications have easy apply buttons, or they are just requiring you to attach your resume. I noticed they're starting to make it a lot easier to apply to jobs, while some larger corporations still require you to not only attach your resume, but then manually put in every single detail again that's already on your resume. Those are a little bit more difficult and time consuming. However, it's not always the standard anymore, depending on where you're applying. So first week, laid the resume foundation. Second week, sent out 28 job applications, not 1 job every day. Out of that net that was cast, I landed 3 interviews, one of which was a referral from a friend. So I feel as though I slightly cheated in this 30-day challenge, because that was something that was more of a referral and outside of this 30-day challenge. However, obviously a part of getting to where you want to be, you always need to be networking. So that one's a biggie. The other interview that I was invited for was for a remote telephonic nurse case manager position, which I was super hyped about. I've worked in case management in the public health setting, so it's harder to get transition from that public to the private sector, at least in the case management world, based on my experience. Drop a comment if it's been different for you or somebody that has had a different experience. However, golden. I got past 3 rounds of pre-screening for that. And then the other opportunity was for a case management role, but this one was in person. It was more of a leadership role, and I did go to interview for that one. So out of all 3, I decided to go with the one that was for a referral from a friend. The telephonic nurse case manager position I did not get. Interests didn't align. And then for the third role, turned down that opportunity after being asked for my recommendations because the referral from the friend was more aligned with what I'm looking for, and it allows me to spend more time running my nurse career manager program, which is the one that's helping you and the purpose of why I'm creating this reel today. 10x strategy. Subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to my Insta, my LinkedIn. I'm on a couple of platforms, and I hope that content I've created so far has been helpful. Drop a question if you have any additional questions about how we can work together, and I look forward to it, guys.